So let's get into Rashaad Penny. I think that news is extremely relevant for me. I think we view this a little bit differently. For
Right.
me, I'm concerned. He initially started off the drafting season for me as one of the handcuffs that I really wanted to try and get as many shares of as possible, given where he was going and given the offense that he was in. We know his history with injuries. We know he had a very devastating ACL injury, complications
Right.
along the way, and it's been a struggle for him to get back on the field.
Right.
This offseason surgery, in light of the fact that he really has not played much since the end of last season, is worrisome to me. Now, I don't know the specifics of it, so I don't want to necessarily drop him too low. And full disclosure, I did just draft him recently, I think, in the 11th round, 11th, 12th round. But it does give me some pause. You know, it's one thing to draft a handcuff. It's another thing to draft an injured handcuff, or one that maybe we can place the label on as injury prone. So this is a story that
Right.
we need to follow very, very closely. We both love Chris Carson this year. And in many formats, knowing how violently Chris Carson runs and how often injured he is. And sometimes these are just knick-knack injuries where he just misses one or two games. It's nice having
Right.
that handcuff in an offense that you know is going to produce. And when healthy, I think that Penny is a very athletic and skilled running back that would do well in that
Right.
offense. And we know
Right.
how I feel about the Seattle offense this year. So,
I mean, so for me, and you kind of made a few of the points that I would make for why actually I'm still on him. One of
mhm.
the first reasons is he's still being drafted so late. We're not talking about somebody you're drafting to potentially put in your starting lineup. Even before when we were still getting good news about practicing, we weren't drafting him to make him our day one starter. We were literally drafting him to kind of handcuff Chris Carson and kind of get a piece of that offense. And I think for me personally, I was trying to sell, everybody on him, just the fact that, he still has that great pedigree. He's a first round draft pick running back. He was just drafted
Facts.
3 years ago, so he's still young. The Seahawks didn't really bring any major competition in there to back up
Facts.
Carson. So for me, it's almost like they had a feel of comfort in Penny. Like, even though he's had these issues, they still feel good enough going into the season with Penny being the backup. Now, keep in mind, Carson himself is not, known to be very healthy. He always tends to miss, a game or two or whatnot due to injury. So that was kind of showing to me that Penny actually, was maybe coming back right. I think I read some article where Carson was saying he felt that him and Penny was the best rushing duo in the league. I mean, it's a little bit of hyperbole, but just the fact that he felt confident speaking of Penny
Yeah.
like that. And again, with this news, for me, it's actually a good thing. Because what does that mean? That means people might kind of sleep on him a little bit. He'll drop
Yeah.
even further. And one point that you did make, and we can kind of move on after this, is you said that, he might miss a game or two or three or four. For me, even if he missed 5, 6 games, if he comes back near the back end of the season and he has fresh legs, and say he happens to get, maybe something happens to Carson, happens to get that role, that could be a league winner. That could be somebody that can actually win games in the playoffs
Yeah.
and you end up utilizing in the tournament. So, and
Those, I
again,
think,
the talent is there, so.
those are all great facts. Those are all great points. And one thing that I think we're going to get into on later podcasts is the understanding the importance and the significance of adding an extra game into the season. I don't really think it's
Yep.
been talked about as much, and I think there are so many different angles and so many different plays on this now being a 17 game season as opposed to 16
Right.
games. So there's a
Right.
podcast I think we should really dedicate towards the
No, I
importance of
agree.
that and how we can
I
take
agree.
advantage of that in drafts. Because I definitely, that's something that uh, I have intentionally been incorporating into how I approach drafts thus far this year. I be on like a track phone. I ain't going back home. I be on like a track